Displacement reactions. A displacement reaction is a reaction in which an atom or a group of atoms present in a molecule is displaced by another atom. For example, iron when added to a solution of copper sulfate displaces copper metal. Dissolve 0.5 gram of silver nitrate in 10 ml water in a test tube. Place a clean copper wire in the test tube. Keep it for some time. Shining crystals of silver appear on the copper wire. The color of the solution becomes bluish as some copper nitrate is formed. Cu plus 2AgNO3 gives 2Ag plus CuNO3 whole 2. In this reaction, iron metal is displaced copper from the solution of copper sulfate. Take copper sulfate solution in a test tube. Place the iron nail in the copper sulfate solution and keep it for some time. After some time, the blue color of the solution fades and red colored copper metal is displaced from the copper sulfate solution. The displacement reaction which occurs is Fe plus CuSO4 gives FeSO4 plus Cu. Some other examples of displacement reactions are 2Na plus 2H2O gives 2NaOH plus H2. 2Al plus Fe2O3 gives Al2O3 plus 2Fe. Double displacement reactions. Double displacement reactions are those in which two compounds exchange ions to form two new compounds. These reactions are also called partner exchange reactions. These reactions occur in ionic compounds. For example, in the reaction of copper sulfate and hydrogen sulfide, copper sulfide and sulfuric acid are formed. Thus, the partner of copper is exchanged for the partner of hydrogen in hydrogen sulfide. The reaction of barium chloride and sulfuric acid to form barium sulfate is also a double displacement reaction. The neutralization reaction are also double displacement reaction. Redox reaction. Redox reactions are those in which oxidation and reduction takes place at the same time. In these reactions, one substance is reduced while the other is oxidized. Take a china dish and add a small amount of copper powder and heat it. When happens to the copper powder, the surface of copper powder has changed to black color. This is because oxygen has combined with copper and copper oxide is formed. If hydrogen gas is passed over this heated material CuO, the black coating on the surface turns brown as the reverse takes place and again copper is obtained. Cupric oxide CuO changes into copper. Oxygen is thus removed from cupric oxide. Since removal of oxygen is reduction, cupric oxide is reduced to copper. Hydrogen removes this oxygen from cupric oxide. Hence, hydrogen is the reducing agent. Thus, oxidation and reduction occurs simultaneously. For example, sodium gets oxidized when it changes to Na+. Oxidation is defined as the gain of oxygen or loss of hydrogen or loss of electrons by a substance. Reduction is defined as the gain of hydrogen or loss of oxygen or gain of electrons by a substance. Zinc gets oxidized to Zn2+. When a zinc rod is dipped in a copper sulfate solution, in this reaction, zinc has lost 2 electrons to become Zn2+. Thus, zinc gets oxidized. On the other hand, Cu2+ gets reduced as it accepts 2 electrons released by Zn to become Cu. Corrosion. You might have noticed that old iron gets turned reddish brown in color. The turning of iron materials into reddish brown color is rusting of iron. Some other materials also tarnish the same way. The black coating on silver and green coating on copper are other examples of corrosion. Corrosion is the process by which metals are eaten up gradually by the action of air, moisture or chemical on their surface. Rancidity. If a metal is reactive, its surface may be attacked slowly by the action of oxygen and water in the atmosphere. The metal reacts with the oxygen of air and water vapor of air, forming compounds on its surface. The formation of these compounds tarnishes the metal, that is, it makes the surface of the metal appear dull. The compounds formed on the surface of metal are usually porous and gradually fall off from the surface of metal, and then the metal underneath is attacked by air and water. The process goes on and on. In this way, the action of air and water gradually eats up the whole metal. When we keep food materials containing fat or oil for a long time, we get an unpleasant smell and the taste also changes. This is because the food materials get rancid. Rancidification is the decomposition of fats and oils by hydrolysis or by oxidation. Antioxidants are often added to fat-containing foods in order to retard the development of rancidity due to oxidation. Natural antioxidants include polyphenols, ascorbic acid, tocopherols. Synthetic antioxidants are butylated hydroxyanizole and butylated hydroxytoluene. Rancidification can be prevented to some extent by keeping food in refrigerators, by storing food away from sunlight and in airtight containers. By filling the nitrogen in packaging food materials, the nitrogen gas prevents the food material from being oxidized and thus prevent rancid. Did you know? A solution of slaked lime produced by the reaction CaO plus H2O gives CaOH2 is used for whitewashing walls. Calcium hydroxide reacts slowly with the carbon dioxide in air to form a thin layer of calcium carbonate on the walls. Calcium carbonate is formed after 2 to 3 days of whitewashing and gives a shiny finish to the walls. It is interesting to note that the chemical formula for marble is also CaCO3. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. Chemical reactions are permanent changes. Each chemical reaction can be represented by a balanced chemical equation. The different types of chemical reactions discussed are combination reactions, decomposition reactions, displacement reactions, double displacement reactions, redox reactions.